Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Tolu, and on this channel I share content all around personal finance, budgeting, frugal living, and I show you how to live your best life on a budget. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is bringing you episode number 4 of Tea Money Talks. Tea Money Talks, if you're not familiar with it, it's an Instagram live series which I started a few weeks back. Every single week I'm joined with a special guest to talk about one money topic or another. On today's episode, I was joined by the amazing Francesca. She's the founder of The Money Fox. Stay tuned because it was a really good conversation that we had. I learned so much from it. She dropped nuggets upon nuggets upon nuggets, so many gems that she shared throughout the course of this conversation, and I know that you're going to get so much from this video. So what I recommend you do is go grab yourself a hot drink, go and grab yourself a pen and paper, go and grab yourself some snacks, and stay tuned because it was a really good one. So without further ado, I'm going to share episode number 4 of Tea Money Talks with you right now. Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 4 of Tea Money Talks. I'm your host Tolu, aka Tea Money, and on this weekly live series we have really good, honest conversations about money with special guests. So every single week I'm joined with a special guest to have a conversation about a different money topic. And so today's conversation, I'm so excited, so excited about the guest that I'm going to have coming on to talk to you. So her name is Francesca, and she's also known as the Money Fox. So if you're familiar with the debt-free community or the personal finance community online, you definitely would have heard her name. But if you're not, you're in for a treat today because you're going to get to know Francesca and hear about her amazing story, how she went from being in so much debt to paying off all of that debt, starting multiple businesses, and also buying her own home. So her story is just such an encouraging and inspiring story. She's been featured in the media as well. She's been featured in so many different outlets, Financial Times, Mail Online, just to name a few publications that she's been featured in. So I'm so excited to get Francesca on this live with me today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on the live now and we can get this live started. How do I do this thing? Oh, there you go. So hopefully she'll join us any second now. Hi guys, thank you all for joining, by the way. I see you all joining, Debt Filinos, etc. Fantastic. Hey, Francesca.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, line is perfect. Can hear you. Thank you. You can hear me all right as well, yeah?
Pardon?
You can hear me well as well?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you once again so much for coming on this live with me. I really appreciate having you here. Like, absolutely amazing.
You're so sweet. By the way, I have a really bad cold, so I'm so sorry if I sniffle or I need to cough or something. I just thought I'd warn you in advance.
Oh, bless you.
I'm trying to blow my nose to get it all out, but just in case.
Oh no, bless you. All right, just to kick off with then, obviously I've given you a little pre-introduction, but it would be good if you can let the guys know a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Yes, I run The Money Fox, which is a platform primarily aimed at women, because I believe that we need a lot of support because there's a lot of things that aren't targeted towards us, especially young women. We're actually more encouraged to spend money, I would say, than be sensible with our money. And I created my platform because I didn't want anyone to feel how I did when I felt I had no support and no money. I was kind of trying to find something that would help me, and I couldn't find anything at the time, so I decided to create that for other people.
Brilliant, and it's amazing. You've helped so many women. You've definitely helped me even the past couple of years while I've been sharing my journey online. I've picked up so much from you, so it's been amazing seeing your growth and seeing all of what you've been doing. So just before we get into the actual crux of this conversation, what I like to do at the start is do a little bit of an icebreaker game. So what I'm going to do is ask you a few questions. So it's either or, basically A or B. And it'll be good you guys that are on the live tuning in to actually get involved as well. So if you guys want to answer A or B to the questions as well, that would be good to see what you guys think. So first question.
Okay. I'm nervous.
Okay, so would you rather, for the same amount of money, have a job you love but have to work 60 hours a week, or have a job you hate and work 40 hours a week?
A job I love, for sure. I think when you're an entrepreneur, you work all the hours under the sun anyway, but it doesn't really matter because you love it, so it doesn't feel like work. That's how I feel. I feel like Like my boyfriend's always like, you're working all the time, and I'm like, yeah, but I love it. It doesn't feel like work
It
at
doesn't
all. So
feel like
it's
work.
definitely the job I love, definitely.
100%. I would have picked exactly the same as you. 100%. Nobody wants to do a job they hate, no matter how much they're paying you. So definitely.
Yeah, some people do, and I think it's worth knowing that you can leave even if you may perhaps work more.
No, that's so true. 60 hours a week. Okay, somebody's gone with the 60 hours a week. So you're right. Yeah, so some people would rather just work more for the more money. So that's interesting to see. Okay, so in a conversation, so this isn't really money related, but it's just interesting to see what your view is. In a conversation, would you rather always have the first word, or B, always have the last word? So always have the first word or have the last word?
Probably the last word.
Same again. I would think
I
so.
try to be a bit of a smart ass, I think. So yeah, probably try and be the last word. If I'm truly honest.
Yeah, no, that's honest, but that's exactly what I would say, to be honest, as well. I'd rather have the last word. But next one, would you rather, okay, buy everything that you want to have but work full time for 50 years, or half of everything you want and only work full time for 35 years?
Probably half of everything I want. I guess it depends on what I want. I mean, you wouldn't want half a house or something. Yeah. Probably work less, have less.
Yeah, same again. Same again. We're literally on the same page for all of these answers. Yeah, a woman after my own heart. I love it. Okay, this one's a good one. Would you rather get £100,000 for sure? So like I've got a briefcase with 100k and I give it to you cash.
Yeah.
Or would you rather I give you a coin, flip the coin, and you can either have £10 million or nothing?
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know.
What would you guys?
Like it should be obvious, but I don't know because like I'm very risk averse. I'm not a gambler at all. But 10 million or nothing.
It's the tempting.
Oh, I'd probably flip the coin for the 10 million. I think. Actually.
Really? Oh, you're not that risk averse then.
But it's 10 million. It's a lot more.
I know, but then it's also zero. I'm like, I don't know if I could do. Do you know what it is here?
I can make 100,000. It's fine. I can't easily make 10 million.
That is true. That is true. But I think because I've watched so many episodes of Deal or No Deal, and I've seen it go so wrong for people. So it's like, no.
I know that's a hard one. That is a hard question. I think in reality, I'd probably get the briefcase, but just for argument's sake, I'd love the 10 million.
You like to believe that you would be risky enough to take a risk, take a gamble.
I would be confident that I would win it. I'm very lucky. I win a lot of competitions, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, you see, I'm the opposite. I never win anything. Coin flip. Oh, we got a coin flipper like you in the comments.
I don't think you would really know unless you were there in that situation.
That is true. Yeah, it's easy to say hypothetically what you would do, but yeah. When it's put before you, you might not take that risk. Okay, last one. Okay, so you've just been. What's that?
You froze then, but you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so would you rather live without music or the internet?
Probably music. It would have to be.
Yeah. Same.
I love music. Yeah, it'd have to be live without music. The internet is so fast. You know, you can get so much from it. Yeah.
100%. And you need it for work as well, so it's like can't really get away from it.
That's true. You can make your own music as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Would be loud.
I don't know if that would be loud. No.
I don't know. Yeah, I think without music, it would have to be.
Okay, brilliant. Final answer. Yeah. Okay. All right. Brilliant. That was fun. Thank you. Thanks for playing that game with me. It's interesting to see what different people pick for the different kind of questions. So interesting. Brilliant. So now to kick off with the questions, why I really wanted to get you on was to really hear your story. Because obviously I've read your story online, but I'm not sure everybody that's on the live now is familiar with your story. And I think it's just such an inspiring one. And I think it would definitely encourage a lot of people that are tuning in now or watching the replay later to know that the situation that you might be in now, no matter what it looks like, you can get out of it. So yeah, it would be really good to go into your story a little bit. So what I wanted to first ask you was, what was your first experience with debt and around what age was it, would you say?
I think I was about 25.
Oh, wow.
I know I look really young, but I am actually pretty old. So
Yeah.
I was about 25. Debt was never on my radar before. Like growing up, I always just thought, what was the point of debt? Like I didn't understand it. I never had the appeal. I never wanted to go get a credit card and buy loads of stuff. I pretty much spent everything I had when I was younger, when I was like 18 and stuff, as you do. But it was always within my means.
Yeah.
So my first experience of debt was when, after I went on maternity leave, basically I had thought that my partner would help me with the drop in income, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And then like he wouldn't let me leave the house to get work and all the rest of it. So I ended up on a really, really low income, and I still kind of wanted things, but the main thing I wanted was to buy like things for my daughter's bedroom. So that was my first experience of debt. Yes, I think I was 25.
Oh wow, okay. Well, much later than me. My first experience with that was uni when I turned 18. So when I went to Freshers Week, you got all the banks there telling you to come and sign up for all the different overdrafts and credit cards. So that was where I got introduced to debt, and yeah, fell in love.
I know it's too young, really, isn't it? Like you need to know beforehand all of that, but to kind of miss all that out.
Exactly, that's exactly it. Like I didn't even know that was a thing, that you could get free money until I went to uni, and then they're all telling me, "Come, get free money, get overdraft, get credit cards." And I was like, "Wow, free money everywhere!" And it's like I didn't have the tools, I didn't really understand it, and yeah, I fell for it big time, unfortunately. So that's good that you managed to escape it. Was that?
You're not the only one, I don't think.
Yeah, no, definitely not, definitely not. No, that's brilliant. Okay, so moving on to, okay, so you said your first introduction to debt was around the age of 25, and it was to get furniture for your daughter's room. So then, was that all the debt, or how did it go? Like, where did it go from there, kind of thing? Was that just like the introduction to it, and it kind of got worse, or was that the debt that you focused on clearing quite quickly?
No. So I think I also added like some clothes for her and stuff, but then what came next, and this is not something I generally talk about either.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's just in case people are listening, other people. Basically, I got married to my ex-husband, and I don't know how to put it in case he's listening. It's the truth. Basically, he said he was going to pay for things, and then when it came down to it, he said, "I'm not paying for it." And this was right before, like a week before, when they asked you to pay for everything up front. And he had been telling me he'd been saving and stuff. Anyway, he hadn't. So I got a loan out to cover a lot of those costs. So I had credit cards from before, and then I had the loan to cover a lot of the wedding costs, because it was unexpected and it was a lot of money all at once. So yeah, not a great start to the marriage, and yeah, from that.
Yeah, no, I can totally appreciate that, totally understand that. So that's even, that is hard when it's like it wasn't intentional. Like, so your one wasn't like you went out of your way to just acquire all this stuff and just get yourself into debt. Like my story was like that. It was just more reckless on my part that I managed to find myself in so much debt. So that's interesting to actually hear that about your story. So then, I guess from what you're saying, you never really was big on getting into debt, if that makes sense. Like, that was never something that you was about. Yeah, I know your honesty is actually amazing. I'm just seeing debt free and all saying, yeah, thank you for that. So then, because that wasn't your thing, that wasn't what you was about. You was never really about debt. I guess that's why you was so keen to pay it off straight away. Was that kind of what it was, or did you kind of get into that and just stay there for a while before thinking, let me do it? So what I'm trying to get to is, what was the catalyst? Like, what was the turning point for you to think, okay, let me clear this debt and turn things around, kind of thing?
I knew I had to pay it off straight away. So like the wedding, obviously, the expenses were unexpected, but with my daughter's room, that was very intentional on my part, because I knew things were so bad at home. I really wanted to decorate her room. It became like a bit of an obsession with me, and this is where Instagram came into it, because I was definitely influenced by the accounts that had like kids' rooms and stuff like that, and they weren't doing anything wrong. I love the kids' rooms accounts. I can't look now because I know it's like a trigger for me. But really beautiful rooms, and I thought she deserves to have something like that, because at this time I had such low income, I couldn't ever buy her anything, and I mean nothing. as in nothing at all, and nothing for myself. So I just thought for me, it was important for her to have like a magical space of her own.
Oh, that's cute.
And by the way, I did it all like on a budget. I know it sounds a bit extravagant that I got it on credit cards and stuff, but I did it. It was a lot of IKEA stuff. My stepdad made her bed, loads of things like that. But I didn't have the money, so I knew from that I had to pay it off. I knew I couldn't afford it, and I knew I had to pay it off pretty quickly. And the same with the loan for the wedding. I knew I had to pay it off. But my problem was that I didn't have a lot of money. I just didn't have hardly any at this time. I was in my eye. At this time, I had an evening job. I had my daughter was little, so I had her at home all day. I had an evening job, but it paid me like literally like a few £100 a month, and that was it. And so I just knew that I had to earn extra money in order to make some sort of progress. So that was when I started really looking around for ways that I could earn extra money, and then that's when I started doing that. That's what kind of catapulted me into paying it all off. But I knew all along I had to pay it off, and I was determined. I just wasn't really sure how. Yeah,
that's really amazing that you was able to do it. And what was the time frame in which it took you to finally clear it all? Was it a few years?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it was maybe 2 years, maybe a bit less. I think I was kind of in like a daze throughout doing it. I said, like, kept my head down. Everything was very stressful. So I didn't set myself a deadline or anything like that. It was just any extra money I earned was thrown at the debt. But yeah, I'm just thinking about the years. I think it was about 2 years for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a healthy way to do it, to be honest, especially now being a part of the debt-free community and seeing it. You see people like, oh yeah, I paid off 50,000 in 2 years, or I paid, and it can kind of feel like the pressure to get it done soon, but it doesn't always have to be that way. I think that approach that you took was brilliant in that you did it in your own time. Like, you didn't feel the pressure like, oh no, I need to do it by X, Y, Z day so that, you know, I can do the debt-free scheme or whatever. It's like, no, you just took your time and did it at a pace that worked.
Some people work really well to a deadline, but I know that I don't, because I know that if I don't achieve it, I will feel awful. But at the same time, I am very determined and I will push myself. So if I don't achieve it, it's not because I haven't tried my best. It's just because of whatever's happened. You know, a lot of people just kind of pick a date out of thin air. For me, I don't work very well to a deadline. So I don't say I will do this by this time. I'll just say I will give it everything and I will achieve it when I achieve it.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's amazing. Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking my questions, make sure I haven't missed any out. Okay, so advice that you would give to anybody that is in debt, like steps or tools or what you think people could do, basically, if they're in that situation now and they're in debt and want to get out of it. What advice could you give to them?
I would say, to start with, you need to know where you're at. You need to know your numbers. You need to know how much debt you're in. This is where a lot of people like to put this off because it's very stressful, which I totally understand. It's not very nice to see everything in black and white. But if you don't know your numbers, then you can't make a plan. I'm all about making a plan. So not just how much debt there is, but also the interest rates that are on there and if they end and all that kind of thing, because I do money coaching, and I was coaching someone yesterday, and she didn't realize that one of her credit cards, 0%, runs out next month, and it goes up to like 20%. So knowing that is really important. Yeah, you can prepare. You might be able to do balance transfers, all the rest of it. But yeah, I would say start with knowing your numbers, and then really it's about your income and your expenses. So your income is whatever it is, your expenses are whatever it is, and the difference between that is what you can use for your goals, like paying off your debt and stuff. So the higher your income and the lower your expenses, obviously the more you have then to pay off your debt. Now for me, what I do, and it's my budgeting method, is any extra money that I earn, I throw it at my goals, so my debt. So what I was doing was I was earning extra money and all of that went to my debt. I didn't touch it at all. And the reason for that was because if I took it out of my normal budget, I would have to cut back on like literally like eating a meal. I'd have to skip a meal or something. And that I don't think is very healthy. So I didn't want to cut into my budget at all. My budget was my budget. I didn't touch that. One of my jobs, I had 2 jobs. One of my jobs paid for my main bills and everything. All the extra money that I got from my other job went towards the debt, and any extra income that I earned went towards my debt. This also I find is really encouraging because it motivates you to earn more, because then you know that you're making really good progress. So I would say focus on increasing your income, which I know sounds easy, but it might not be, and decreasing your expenses. But I think where a lot of people go wrong perhaps is, and this is what I did, was cutting out everything fun.
Yeah.
Everything fun is going to be so miserable, and you're probably going to say,
you're going to quit.
I'm just going to go how I was before. And that's not what it's about. You still want to have fun and enjoy yourself. It doesn't need to be all doom and gloom. But that doesn't mean spending how you've been spending if you've got a bit of a spending problem. That means perhaps looking at cheaper ways of doing things. Could you invite your friends around? I mean, if we're allowed with all the rules.
Yeah, maybe not right now, yeah.
All those kind of things. Could you borrow an outfit from your friend instead of buying an outfit if you're going out? Could you perhaps go out just for coffee instead of going out for a meal? All these kind of things, like, just think about what I like to say is think about what makes you happy. So it might be really, really small things. Like for me, I actually really enjoy going for a walk with my boyfriend and my daughter. Because we did it so much in lockdown, I actually really enjoy it because we live in such a nice area and I like doing that once a day. And that is totally free. So I think incorporating all those kind of things in your budget is really important. Obviously, if it's free, you don't need to. But still the small things like going out for coffee, going out for a meal, that's all fine. I think if you're budgeting for it and you can afford it, then I'm all for it. Like when I was paying off debt, because I was earning extra money, I actually bought a car when I was still in debt. Because I didn't have a car for 4 years, which was hell. I would not recommend it. I'm never, ever gonna not have a car again. I'm like adamant on that. So yeah, I bought a car. It was £3,000, but I love it. Yeah. And I bought like some clothes and things like that. I did like little things like that while I was paying off debt because I knew that I could see the end in sight and I was trying to relax a little bit. But in terms of decreasing your expenses, that's something you can look at. So I find budgeting really good, and I know lots of people don't like budgeting, but that might be because it's usually because it's, like I said, it's from being really restrictive. If you cut everything out of your budget, you're not going to enjoy the process. And also you need to use realistic numbers. So this is where tracking expenses really comes in handy. And again, it sounds really boring, I know, but this is something I do with my coaching clients. Again, what we do is we look at the triggers. So if you find that perhaps you spent some money on clothes and you didn't want to buy the clothes, if you actually go back and think, okay, what actually led me to doing that? It might be because a lot of the time you've seen someone on Instagram or something and they've influenced you to get it. And it might be that you need to unfollow them just for a bit.
Or mute them at least,
Or you might have been bored. Or you might have had a bad day, or you might have had a good day. I just think it's really useful to kind of identify those things, and they're the things that you want to cut out. Yes. It's kind of emotional spending, which is what we want to avoid. So yeah, that's a very rambly way of saying, I would say try and increase your income and decrease your expenses. Yeah, and then throw the rest at your debt.
No, that's brilliant. And that's pretty much what we did when we was paying off all our debt too. That's how we did it. It was budgeting, like you said. Before we got married, we thought we were budgeting. It's only when we got into so much debt and we was trying to clear it off, we realised, oh no, we wasn't budgeting at all because we never had anything written down. Just kind of had a rough idea of how much was coming in and how much was going out. But that wasn't really us keeping our eye on the ball in terms of how much money we had. And it was when we finally sat down and done a written budget, we realized, wow, we actually have a lot more money than we think we have. But we didn't realize that we spent so much on food, for example, or we didn't realize that we had so many subscriptions that we didn't need. So it was just finding things in our budget, like you said, that we could take off straight away, and that money literally throwing it at the debt. And that's how we kind of did it to pay ours off too. So it's interesting to hear your ways.
That's good. Yeah, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's one of those things like, I think you can relate it to a lot to like losing weight, for example. It really, if you really look at it simplistically, it's like you need to exercise and eat well. Obviously that's very simplistic and generalized, but obviously there's a lot more that goes into it than that. With debt, it generally is increasing your income, reducing your expenses, and throwing out debt. But obviously there's a lot more that goes into that than that. And the things I think that trip us up are where our emotions get involved, because
100%.
if we're spending on things we don't really want to be spending on, it's usually because our emotions kind of guided us there. And that's where I think really analysing and looking at budget properly really does help. And not in a critical way, not like, oh my God, why did I do that? I'm useless. Just like, okay, why was that? What could I do differently? Is that how I want things to go in my life? Is that actually helping me? Is that building the life that I want? And kind of adjusting from there.
Having those conversations with yourself. Yeah, no, brilliant. That's excellent advice. It's absolutely fantastic advice. Okay, so then in terms of what did you say?
My nose is running.
Oh, bless you. You've got some tissue.
Wait, I'll do it out of shot.
Yeah, quick.
You don't want to see it running down my face, I'm sure.
Yeah, no. We'll sort it out.
I'm so poorly.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. That's real commitment. Thank you for still continuing with the life, even though you're not feeling 100%.
Sorry, guys.
That's brilliant. No, so I don't have that many more questions for you. If you guys, by the way, have any questions or comments, then leave them in the questions box. I think it's the question arrow thing at the bottom. Just submit any questions and I can throw them back, Francesca, for you. But I was just going to ask, in terms of paying off debt and investing, what's your views on that? So, like, some people of the school of thought that, you know, if you've got debt, then you shouldn't be investing money, and then vice versa. Some people are like, no, you can do both at the same time, because obviously, but by paying off the debt, you're missing out on all the compounding that investment can be doing. So, where do you sit when it comes to that? Just interested to know.
Well, I would say with debt, it is compounding, but in the opposite way to what you want it to
That is very true.
I think if you have high interest debt, you will not. It won't be balanced out in the slightest in terms of interest and your returns. Obviously, the interest isn't guaranteed, whereas your debt is a guarantee. You know, it's there. You need to pay it. That's what the interest rates are. For me personally, I would probably concentrate on the debt. I say that you're kind of paying off your past, and investing is more for the future. So I think you should pay off the past debt. However, to kind of contradict myself, what I would say is that investing is a habit, and there are platforms you can start from, like literally £1. And I think for a lot of people, including myself, investing seemed like this big, scary thing that only really people did, and I didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of put it off for so long. And it's one of those things where you think, why did I just put it off for so long? But it's because not enough people were talking about it. I didn't know that normal people could just do it. So I think if you really want to make it a habit, you could perhaps start on a platform, like I said, where you can start with as little as £1. And just because that's not really going to affect your bottom line, and just use that, and then you can make some changes in the future. But I would really suggest paying off the debt. What you don't want is for something to go wrong and have to end up getting in more debt as well. So you don't want to be just like putting out fires everywhere. You just want to concentrate on the debt, is what I would say.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm of the same belief, to be honest. That's what I would have said if I was asked that same question. I think for us anyway, it was important for us to prioritize paying off the debt, because like you said, with with investing, that's still risky. You might not get a return, the market's dip and go up, etc. It fluctuates, whereas that debt is there regardless, and it's still going to need to be paid. So the longer you delay it, it's not really helping you anyway, really. So yeah, no, that's what I would say to that question. And then my next question for you, I think you kind of touched on it already, but we've got a few people that have joined, and just to kind of expand on it, in terms of you starting the Money Fox and sharing your journey so publicly and online, what was the inspiration? What made you really want to do that?
So it was so I was in a really bad place when I had literally no money. I couldn't really see a way out at all. I didn't have anyone that I knew that was in a similar position to me. My friends had all done really well. I don't know if any of them were watching, but they'd all gone to uni, they'd got really good jobs, their partners had really good jobs, they were saving. And I kind of wanted to do a post about this, because everyone says don't keep up with the Joneses, they're broke. But actually, my Joneses were not broke.
They weren't broke.
They were doing really well. They were still managing to go on holidays, they were buying cars, they were buying houses, but they didn't have any debt, because they managed their money really well. Because they just had so much income, like joint income, and they were doing really well. And I just felt really alone, basically. And I had to move in with my mum when I was still with my ex-husband. I moved in with my mum, and I didn't have a car, like I said. We were she lived in the sticks, like really in the countryside. There was no one around. And because I didn't have a car or any money, we just kind of stayed in the house all the time.
Yeah.
Me and my daughter, or we went to the park and we like lived in the library pretty much. And it was really sad for me. And I'm sure you know what it's like when you've got a little one at home, you kind of want to get out and about, and the days kind of stretch like massively. And I found it really difficult and really, really isolating. And like I said, I knew that I had an income problem because I had to budget really well. And this is what I say to a lot of people who are really high earners. They're actually really big spenders, but they don't find it a problem because they have so much income coming in. They have never really had to sit down and like really go through their budget. But if you don't have any money, you kind of need to have a really good budget. It needs to be like legit if you're following it to the T. And so I was really, really good at budgeting. So I knew it was an income problem. I couldn't find anything. So my daughter was only little. She wasn't in school. I thought, what on earth can I do with a toddler? And bear in mind, I had the evening job that I was doing from home as well, which I was so lucky to have. But like I said, I wasn't paying hardly anything.
It wasn't, yeah.
I was like, what can I do? And I was Googling, and it was all coming up with things that perhaps you needed money to invest in. And obviously I didn't have any money. So I was just like, what can I do for free that I can make money from with a toddler? And I just really wasn't sure what I could do. And there wasn't really anything coming up, or it seemed kind of spammy. You know, when you type like make money online.
Oh yeah,
so spammy. But I actually, the first one I did mystery shopping. Now, a lot of people, and I always say this because it's important to me, a lot of people give things like mystery shopping and surveys a lot of stick, and they say, I hate when people talk about them and promote them, people shouldn't be doing them. Now, I agree you shouldn't be doing them long term because they're not very well paid. But for me, it was like a stepping stone. I think mystery shopping really appealed to me because basically you get a lot of free food. And when I say I had no money, I literally ate either vegetable soup or plain pasta for about 3 years, maybe.
Wow.
And I think I actually gave myself a gluten like allergy from that.
Oh my God.
And also I can't eat vegetable soup, it makes me feel sick just thinking about it. But the free food was like so appealing to me with the mystery shopping. And I thought, will it work? Will it be spammy? Will it be difficult? But I just went for it. And I came out, I remember it so well. I remember coming out and I had all this free food and drinks and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, it worked.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, because like I said, mystery shopping things, by the way, there's loads of scammy things and spammy things, but obviously like I and other people talk about one like genuine ones.
Yeah.
So that was actually with there's a mystery shopping site called Market Force, which I really
Market
Force.
Force, okay.
Yeah. So they're really, sorry for my sniffing. They were really good. But yeah, that kind of inspired me then to try new things. And then when I was trying the new things, I thought I really need to share this with other people, because like I said, when I tried to find someone that could help me, I couldn't find anything. Now, there were many blogs out there, but it's nothing like it was now. This is obviously years ago. But they were all kind of like people who were already wealthy and perhaps had been bitten by the frugal bug and were selling their boats and their second house and all that kind of thing. So I really relate to that.
Yeah,
so I thought I was in such a bad place. I thought I can't have someone else feel like that and not be able to find something to help them.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll share some things that have helped me, and hopefully they can do the same things then and get to the same place, because I could see like things were really improving. So yeah, that was why I started it, to kind of share. And then eventually I realized, I can actually monetize this as well, because I didn't realize, because I started with affiliate links. Now, for example, I just said about Market Force, they have affiliate links. So I realized that, if I just change the link, then I can get a referral from that. And saying the exact same thing. All I was interested in was saying the same thing, but maybe changing the link. I didn't realize that at first, but then I thought, that's a really handy thing to do as well. So yeah, but I started it to help people who were in the same situation as me, because I felt like there wasn't anything for that. But there's so many great money blogs out there now, and Instagram accounts and everything, as you know. But at the time, they're
no surprise that you've been able to be so successful because of the way you started, and the reason you started it was to help and serve others, and just by you wanting to help so many other people, you obviously the rewards of it now, which is amazing. Which just goes to show that in business, and when you want to do when you want to do business, it's about serving people and serving as many people as you can. And the more people that you are able to serve, the more you're going to be able to make income from it. So no, that is amazing. That's such an inspiring story. Absolutely love what
you're
do.
so right, though. And it's so lovely when people send me messages, because sometimes I think, why am I doing this? And then someone will send me a message and they'll say, oh, you've actually changed my life by doing it. And I just think, oh my God, that is like my goal. And I keep those messages like in a little folder.
Yeah, same.
It's so nice, isn't it?
It's so rewarding. You're like, oh wow. You know, sometimes you just think, oh, why am I actually doing all of this? Is this actually helping anybody? But then when you hear those stories about you transforming someone's life, you're like, oh wow, like just by me sharing my story or just me sharing things that have helped me, I've been able to help somebody else and help another family. So that's amazing.
I think a lot of people think, oh, well, why should I do it when there's so many other people out there? But you don't understand that, like, someone relates so much to you. So someone who relates to me may not relate to you, and vice versa. And it's so important that, like, your voice can affect someone else in ways that perhaps someone else can't.
Someone else can't, 100%. Which is exactly why I'm doing these live series with different guests, because people could be like, "Oh, why are you bringing another money person on? Like, she's gonna steal all your audience." But it's like, no, not really, because we all have, like I said, I'm different to you, you're different to me. The people that may be interested in what I say, vice versa, they might receive it better from me or from you, kind of thing. So no, I definitely think it's so good that I think it just, even people that are on here now, your story is just as important. You know what I mean? If you've got a story to share and you think you can help people, then why not do it? Kind of thing. Don't feel like, oh, it's saturated or everybody's doing that, I can't do it, because no, there's only one you at the end of the day. So
definitely. I just thought I should mention, so every Monday, I hope you don't mind me saying, every Monday I share debt stories from the
I love it.
stories.
Oh my gosh, I should have
mentioned
that.
I just thought I should definitely share, because I felt like, okay, I'm saying all this stuff, but perhaps it's not resonating with everyone, like kind of like we just said. And people were saying, oh, I'd love to see things from other people. So I did a little Google form and I said, would anyone like to share their debt story for other people to look at? And you can do it anonymously or not. And I was so blown away by how many people wanted to do it.
The responses.
It really is a taboo subject. And so many people were just willing to share literally their whole story. So how much debt they were in, how they did it, the challenges they had, all of their tips, how they felt when they first did it. Because I said, I also did a poll saying, what would you like to know from people in the debt? And that's the actual questions that I ask. They're not ones I made up, they're ones that everyone wanted to know. And I get so many people message me saying, you know, this one has really resonated with me and this one's different, and thank you so much. And I just, it's so good, I think, to hear other people's stories.
100%. Because it gives you hope, doesn't it? Because you're like, oh, that person was able to do it, maybe I can do it too, kind of thing. So no, it's definitely encouraging when I hear the stories.
They're also different. Like, there was a lovely lady I shared the other day that struck a chord with a lot of people because her partner died during her pregnancy, and so she couldn't afford a lot of the baby things. Oh my gosh, like literally, I like nearly cried then. So that like touched a load of people. And then there's like people who are sharing stories that are single, people who are married, people who have been married a few times, people who are young, people who are older, people who have a job, people who don't have a job, all these things. And I just think it's so good to see different stories, because I think debt can feel so isolating. We kind of feel like it's just us, like poor me, but there are actually thousands of people that are in debt, and that's obviously not a good thing, but you're not on your own, basically.
No, it's so true. But it's so funny that when you are in that position, it is so isolating. You literally feel like, well, I know for me, I literally felt like it was just us. And like, how did we do this? How did we mess up so badly? Like, we're just not serious, kind of thing. But it's like, no, a lot of people do actually go through it just in silence, kind of thing. And for me, similar to you, when I was coming out of the journey, I was like, I didn't know where to turn to or where to get that information from or get support or get help, which is the same kind of reason why I started sharing my journey online too. So no, it's really, really, really important to have a platform and use your platform for other people to share their stories too. I think that's brilliant. I think it's amazing. I absolutely love it.
Definitely. You're not alone, guys, if you have debt.
Exactly. Definitely not alone. Definitely you're not alone. I think I've got a couple more questions. And the guys, if you've got any questions, don't be shy. Drop them in the, no, there's nothing in there right now, in the questions box. Just a couple more questions. Okay. So one of them would be, if you could talk to your 18-year-old self, is there any advice you'd give your 18-year-old self about money?
Yeah, I'd probably say try and be like a nun or celibate for like ever. Don't worry about the men. They're gonna ruin everything. Um, no, no, I probably would say that. No, I don't know because I wouldn't have my daughter. I would probably say save quicker because so when I met my ex-husband, I remember I had £3,000 saved. I was really proud of that. But we rented a flat and they wanted our money up front for the term. So that literally got rid of all of my savings. So I did kind of that. Then I didn't have a backup plan. Like I said, I assumed that he was going to help me with my drop in income and he didn't. So I had no backup plan. He was kind of my backup plan. Naively, I thought that my partner would support me and he didn't. But I would probably say make sure that you are okay yourself, and a man is not a financial plan. Now, like, I'm not saying that I got with him because he had money, because he didn't. I just assumed that he would help me, and I think if I had made sure that I could do it all independently, I would have been a lot better off. But equally, I think choosing the right partner comes into it a lot. So like my boyfriend now, he would never have done that to me. I know that like 100%, and things would have been so different if I'd been with him. So I would say really choose your partner carefully. To my 18-year-old self, probably save a bit quicker. But to be honest, like I don't really think I did that many things wrong. Yeah. Because like I said, I had no interest into getting into debt. I had started saving, and I was having fun at that age, as you do. I didn't really see any problem with that. But then I think because I had my daughter quite young and I expected support, that's what kind of threw the span in the works for me. And I'm not kind of blaming him because obviously I should have prepared, but I think I was a bit naive, really. Yeah. So I would say don't worry, it works out okay in the end, even if it takes a while to get there. You'll be okay.
Yeah, and you are more than okay, look. So yeah, definitely it does work out in the end. We've got one question actually I've seen just popped in. With COVID-19, what advice would you give people about their finances in terms of saving?
Where it pops up.
Yeah. You can see the question, yeah.
I guess it depends on your specific situation, because like for me, I'm not affected by it, and nor is my partner, whereas some people are massively affected by it because they've lost their jobs. But I would say, I don't want to be a scaremonger or anything, but we might have a second wave. So I would say look at what happened in the first instance. Do you think it could perhaps impact your job from that? But I'm a big fan of multiple income streams. So if you can start setting up multiple income streams, or perhaps go a bit heavier on the ones that you already have, if you have them, I think that's really important, because then if one goes, then you still have the others. That's kind of the idea with the multiple income streams. But in terms of saving, I would say, definitely save if you don't have an emergency fund in place. We want to avoid debt. So you've got to think about if things go wrong. So I like to say, what is it? Is it prepare for the worst, hope for the best? That is definitely my life motto. I'm such an optimist, but I'm such a realist as well. Yeah. Would you be okay if your fridge broke? You know, you're going to would you be able to pay for it? If your car broke and you needed it, would you be okay? That's the kind of things that you want to think of saving for. Is what I'd say. But multiple sources, streams of income are going to help you out a lot. But I would definitely say prepare for a potential second wave.
Yeah, because it's pretty much coming, definitely, 100%.
Oh, and then the schools open. Oh, God.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Can't do it.
They can't do that to us again. Surely not.
No.
I think it will take a lot for them to close the schools again. I don't think they will. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see.
I hope so. Yeah, what would you say anyway? What would your advice be?
My advice in terms of save. What was the question again? Sorry. Hello. Yeah, sorry. Go on. What did you say? The question. What was the question again? It was like about saving during COVID. Yeah, I'd say save as much as you can. Like I would say, prioritize saving as much as you can. Like you said, the emergency fund. I think it's if you don't have one, now is the time to really do everything you can to build one. So whether it's you selling stuff from around your house that you don't use, like that's something that I did a lot when we was trying to build our emergency fund initially, was getting rid of stuff. Like you don't realize how much things that you actually have that have monetary value that you can actually turn into cash. So definitely, where you can make money, I'll definitely say do that, because now's the time to really have an emergency fund. If there was ever a time to prioritize saving your money, it's now, because I'm thinking this time next year, the cost of living in the UK is just going to be crazy. So it's like,
I think we're going to be hit with a lot of tax.
Oh, 100%.
So,
all of that eat out to help out that we've been doing, and all of these mortgage holidays and everything that they've been doing to help us now, they're going to have to make it back somehow. So definitely keep your expenses as low as you can for now and save as much as you can. I would definitely say.
And hopefully we're staying in more anyway, hopefully. Try and reduce the spread, so
definitely
save some money.
So now's the time to say, exactly, not traveling to work, all those things. Now's not the time to now be switching that money to use for online shopping. Now's the time to just save that money that you're saving on travel, on lunch, all those things. Definitely, I'd say it. 100%. And just my final question, in case if you guys have any more questions, like I said, just submit them. But my last question was just this one. I posted it on my Instagram a while ago, and it had quite a lot of different views, and I'll be interested to hear what you think. It was just a question about good debt and bad debt. Like, what is your view? Do you think there's such thing as good debt?
I don't think there's such thing as good debt. I think there's acceptable debt. So debt that we accept as being okay, which I would say is usually debt that will get us further ahead. So I think that would be things like student loans, business loans, mortgages. I think we accept those. I think if we're really honest with ourselves, we would say we really shouldn't be getting into debt for those. The ideal situation is, of course, that you wouldn't get into debt, but how many 18-year-olds can pay for their uni?
No,
like none. It's just not the way it goes. But I would say I wouldn't call it good debt myself. I would call it acceptable debt, because I don't think debt is good, even if it does help you. I think for me it's because the problem is if you suddenly can't pay it back, that's when you get into such a vicious cycle, because a lot of people I know that are in the cycle, it's not just from one debt. It's from getting into one debt and then having to get another one and another one and another one and another one, and then the interest rate goes up and up and up, and then they lose their job, and it kind of it spirals. Like thing. So for me, I like to avoid it. However, like I said, I think it's acceptable. I was happy enough to get a mortgage. Would I rather not have a mortgage? Of course, I would rather not have a mortgage, and we're overpaying it as quickly as we can in order to not have the debt. But I would say acceptable debt and bad debt. The bad debt is more things that are like paying loans and stuff like that.
Oh gosh,
so much. The interest
that stuff should be illegal. I tell you,
it's disgusting, honestly.
So bad.
I posted on my stories the other day. I think it was like 500% came through the door.
APR, what?
Yeah, I think that's disgusting, especially now with like.
It's so bad.
That's horrible.
It's so evil, and it should be illegal. And I'm with you in terms of that, the whole good debt, bad debt thing. So I'm of the position that debt should be seen as bad. Like if you have that mindset that debt is bad, I think you'll treat it a lot better. So you'll be a lot more cautious with debt acquisitions. I think it can become quite dangerous when you start saying, "Oh, it's good debt," and then you end up over leveraging yourself to the point that good debt now turns on you and it becomes a mess kind of thing. You mess up your finances. So I think definitely treat it with caution and just understand that debt is still debt and it still needs to be paid. So don't just think, oh yeah, it's good debt, it's fine, because the debt still needs to be cleared. So approach it with caution is what I would say with debt.
Definitely. I think as also with the acceptable debt, you can, like you said, like you could get a mortgage that's so high at your absolute maximum that you could get, and that's not necessarily the best thing to do. And again, with like student loans, you might go to get a certain degree and then you end up not getting that job in that field.
Exactly.
So I think, like you said, you have to really look at it kind of critically and think about, is it actually good, or is it just kind of benefiting you in a way that you're actually going to use it?
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of people that have degrees that they don't use, which is fine. But yeah, I just think it's something that to bear.
But it's an expensive experience though. If you're not going to actually use it for what you're doing in the future, it's like, oh, you start the degree, you do the first year, then you change your course, and you change like 3-4 times, and then before you know it, you've got like 6 years worth of student loans to pay off, kind of thing, and it still needs to be paid. Because I know obviously in the UK, like our loans are not like in America in terms of, you know, their ones are criminal, to be honest. but it is still loans that still need to be paid off. So whether we're paying it like a minuscule amount every single month for the next 25 years, we're still going to be paying it. So yeah, definitely approach
their loans. I did so I do like freelance writing. I've done a load of articles for American clients on their student loans, and if you actually look into it, it is horrendous what they do, because they they sell their student loans to other companies without telling them.
It's crazy.
And they're like literally with another company, and they had no idea, and they change all their rates, and they get things wrong, and it's just, and they like don't take the payments properly, and it's like, oh my god. But I mean, we have a doctor in our family, and she's got £70,000 student loan debt right now.
Wow. Oh wow.
Well, she's newly qualified, so that's her total sum. But yeah, so we do have there are some things with a lot of high student.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it is a lot. And even the fact that our student loan takes so long to pay off is quite annoying. So I checked mine the other day, because I've been paying my student loan for what, 12 years now. So I was like, oh, surely I must be close to paying it off. I haven't even scratched the surface. I've been paying interest for the past 12 years and maybe £10,000 from the £16,000 loan. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying about the compound interest working the other way, like not in your favour. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying before. That's a perfect example of it. Yeah. So what I do actually need to eventually prioritize paying off that student loan, because before I was like, no, I don't need to pay it off, but it's like, no, I actually do want to clear it. It'd be so nice to be completely debt free, which is the same thing with mortgage, which like what you were saying before about you overpaying yours. That's the same reason why we're overpaying ours too, because yes, we do have a fixed amount that we have to pay every single month, but it's like, why do we want to take 30 years to pay off the house if we can be more aggressive with it and pay it off sooner and save all that interest? So
definitely. I love seeing all the updates on it.
Oh, thank you. You see them, yeah. Okay, there's a question here from
my nose.
Lord. Pardon?
I'm wiping my nose.
Oh no, that's fine. From Lord. She said, love this. How important do you think financial instability is when choosing a partner? Oh, that's a very good question.
Very important. But I would say that I think people can change. So just because someone's perhaps not that great with money now doesn't mean that they're never going to be good with money. Perhaps it's just their age or just what they're used to and stuff. But I think people need to want to change. So my ex-husband did not want to change. He was happy with me having none and him having all his money and doing whatever he wanted. He was absolutely fine with that. I was not, obviously. So I think it's massively important. So like my partner now, we have the same goals, the exact same goals. And I think because of everything that has been going on in past relationships and stuff, I was very, very fussy. I would not have got with him if I thought he was bad with money. But that's not to say that I got with him because he grew up with money or anything like that. I didn't actually know when we got together. He told me he had savings. I knew he was saving for a house. I knew he didn't have any debt and all that kind of thing. But I knew that we were on the same page. We wanted to buy a house. We wanted to pay off the mortgage early. We wanted to work towards like financial freedom and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's very, very important because you want to work as a team. If you're trying to like work towards something and they're kind of pulling you back, you're just going to take one step forward and 2 steps back, and it's going to be really difficult. But if you're both working together, you're just going to get there so much faster.
100%. No, 100%. I think I'd say that, financial stability is important, but equally, I think the attitude towards money is also very important. I guess like how you perceive money and how you view money is very important as well to kind of establish early on. So like with me and my husband, I'm the spender, he's the saver. So from the beginning, it was like, okay, we have very different views when it comes to money. So it's like, how are we going to find a compromise and a happy medium in between? So I think it's important to understand your views of money and how you manage money and kind of find a way to compromise or plan how you're going to compromise kind of thing early on in the relationship. So yeah.
I agree. But like you said, you both were willing to kind of work together on that.
Yes.
If they're not willing to work with you on that, that's when the problem arises.
That's not going to work.
But like I said, I think people can change. Just because you've been brought up perhaps a certain way doesn't mean someone can't come along and go, oh, why don't you try this? Because everything that I do, no one has told me. No one has told me to invest. No one told me anything about debt, how to pay off debt, how to pay off your mortgage, any of that. No one's ever told me. I figured it out as I go. So I think it is important to realize that maybe someone didn't know that this was possible. Like investing, like I said before, is such a good one. Because has anyone ever told you how to invest, like growing up or anything like that?
Never.
Yeah, no one ever talks about it. Nobody, and then you think it's not for you and it's not possible. But then
I didn't even think it was accessible for people like me. I thought it was for rich people. I was like, investing.
Yeah. Me too. I always thought that, like, maybe if I won the lottery, that's when I would start investing or something.
Yeah.
But before that, I just thought you had to go to a financial advisor and they would invest it for you and stuff. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I think just knowing that I came across this and then my kind of mindset changed is an important way to look at it, because perhaps your partner hasn't had something like that and then their mindset hasn't changed, but you could be the one to change their mindset. So I think it's very important, and especially before you do anything together, like buying an asset, like buying a house or getting married. I think these things need to be discussed before, because it's really important.
It's so important. It can be a deal breaker. Definitely.
It would.
Okay, last question, because I don't want us to run out of time. I've just seen one pop up. Do you overpay your mortgage by a certain amount each month?
Is that for me or you?
You can fire away and I'll say, yeah, I think we can both go. Yeah, you can go first.
Yeah, we overpay ours by 1% each month, but we also do lump sums. So it's actually better mathematically to drip feed it, so overpay each month rather than lump sums. But my partner really likes to do lump sums. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a psychological thing, like throw all this huge lump of money at it. But yeah, that's what we do. But I think it is best to do it every month. But if you haven't come across this concept before, and that's why you're asking, the small amounts add up so much. I'd really recommend Googling mortgage overpayment calculator. There's so many out there.
Yes.
You can put in how much your mortgage is, the interest rate, and you can put in if you did a lump sum or if you did it by even £10 a month, and it will show you how much interest you will save and how many years you'll knock off your mortgage. And it's so fun.
It's such an eye-opener.
Numbers, and it's shocking how
much
difference it makes. Yeah,
you don't realize the difference it actually makes, but it makes a huge difference. So with us, we overpay what we can every month, so we don't have a fixed amount that we do at the moment. When I was working, we was able to minimum overpay £100 a month, and anything else extra we'll throw at it. Whereas now I'm not working, it's just my husband working, so now it's just whatever we can afford to overpay, we will. So whether it's £100, £50, £500, we just do it, and we do it as and when the money comes through, because like what you were saying earlier, so with our bank, the interest is calculated daily, so every time we have the money, it's better to pay it straight away. So my husband could literally in 1 month do 8 overpayments, because as soon as he has the extra money, he just puts it straight on the mortgage, literally as little as £5 or £20, whatever, he'll just throw it at it, and it all adds up, like you said.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Please go and look if you haven't looked already, because whenever I've shared numbers before, people are like, whoa, what do you mean I can do this by overpaying £5 a month or something?
Yeah.
And again, this is something else that isn't really talked about enough, and something I've been trying to talk about. No one told me you can overpay your mortgage each month.
It's true.
Nobody's told me that. I don't know anyone else that's doing it.
I didn't know it was a thing. And I don't think a lot of people did as well, because when I started doing my overpayments and sharing this post, I got so many messages from people, even friends and family, and they're like, what, you're overpaying mortgage? I didn't even know you could do that. And I was like, well, yeah, I didn't know either until Dave Ramsey. That's how I found out about it. This whole paying off your home early, I got that concept from him. And then when I looked into it, I was like, oh, okay, so you can do this. The banks don't tell you about that though, do they? Because they don't want you to pay it off early.
No, but it is in the term. So a lot of the time, you can only pay 10%.
Maximum
each year, but it is different. So I would say if you are going to look, make sure you check your mortgage terms, but a lot of them will allow you to do that. And I know some people then go, oh, well, if it's only up to 10%, because actually that's a lot. If you have a £200,000 mortgage, that's like £20,000. Are you going to overpay by £20,000 in a year if you're just starting? Probably not. I mean, you might do, but it's really worth it. And whenever I speak to people about it, they go, oh, I couldn't afford that. And I say, well, could you afford £5 a month? And they go, well, yeah, I could. And I go, go on then, that's it.
Do that.
You need to start with. You don't need a huge amount of money. And I think that's what we think. And as well with investing, we think we need a huge amount of money, and we don't. It just... I was just reading that. Okay. Did that make
We're
sense on what I said with the 10% max?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're saying you understood what I meant.
Yeah, no, yeah, what you've just said, I think she was just confirming that that's what you mean. Yeah, that's what the 10% means. Yeah, so now she understands based on what you've said. So that's brilliant. Oh my gosh, Francesca, thank you so much for this live. It's absolutely been amazing. I'm just conscious that we're going to run out of time, and I don't want to cut us off.
It's going to go in a second.
The hour's literally gone like that. It's been such an amazing live. It's been such a great conversation. But just quickly before it cuts us off, why don't you tell the guys that are new on here how they can find you and how they can connect with you.
I'm at the .moneyfox on here, and then I'm at themoneyfox.com is my website.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. So was that?
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. It's been an amazing life. I've enjoyed every second of it. So until next week, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much again, Francesca.
No worries. Bye.